Lovely Phill Martin.
Hello, darling.
Are you all right?
I am, thank you. How are you?
This is very exciting. I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
But we're going to get to know you, Phill, over the
You
next
are?
20 minutes. So this is an interview with Phill Martin, a little bit like Interview with a Vampire, really, the movie.
Only not quite so pale, I hope.
This is a good place to start. Do you have a favourite movie, Phill?
Oh, favourite movie? Oh, crikey. Well, I'm a big fan of the superhero, the Marvel, the DC.
Yeah, I
did you
didn't
not
know.
that?
No, I didn't know that.
So Marvel, DC, that kind of Superman,
Really?
Iron Man, that kind of thing. I like all the fantasy.
That's another
That
question.
superhero.
Yes. Who's your favourite superhero then? If you could be a superhero, which superhero would you be?
Oh, Superman, obviously.
Would you? Why?
Yeah, well, the outfit, darling. I think it's the best outfit, the best hair.
Actually, yeah. Do you know what? I would say you are Superman, but only from sort of like the head.
Yeah, just from here up.
Just from there up.
Yeah, but that's my kind of thing. So it's like sci-fi is my thing.
I didn't know that.
Escapism, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Now, Phill, with your Sentimentally Yours, your brand, what's interesting about that is that you focus a lot on sentiments.
Yeah.
So where did all that begin with you?
Crikey. Well, do you know how long it's been going? So 2014
Has it really?
is when I actually started
Wow.
Sentimentally Yours, yeah. And I started it simply because I couldn't find verses for cards.
Okay.
Yeah? So and way back when, you'll all know this, way back when you just couldn't get proper verses. You could get sentiments, but just not verses. And that's kind of where it all started. So I started writing my own verses. And it's like an age ago now, but it's obviously snowballed from there. So words are really important to me. We all make a card or a project to say something.
Yes.
Even if you're giving it as a gift, you're doing it to say something. And that's kind of where it all started. And obviously,
Here you
got
are
a lot
today.
bigger since then. Yeah, here I am today.
So were you good at English at school? Did you like English?
I think my mind is creative in whatever form you can do at the time. So writing creatively, putting rhyming words and putting words together creatively, putting colours together creatively.
Yes.
So I kind of, and yet it's far removed from my original job that I used to do before.
What did you used to do then?
I used to work with social services.
Did you?
Yeah, I did that for years and I absolutely loved my job, working with the elderly. I absolutely loved it, Janice, and it was only this is not leading. Here we go.
Yes.
I'll be quick. And this is kind of where the whole craft thing came from. So somebody I used to know did that in the day centre, did card making and little bits of scrapbooking and that. And for years I used to take the mickey out of them, like play with bits of paper. And then you know you've heard this story 100 times. When you're not very well, you're a bit stressed, you need a relief and escape from that. And I'd text this friend and said, fetch me some of your bits round to my house, I'm going to have a play while I was off work. And I did, and that's where it started. So she brought me some punches, some pattern papers, started with that. Then I went to the shops that we all know, spent a fortune as we all know. And it kind of started there, and it's only after I'd been crafting for a fair few years, and I thought, you know what, I can't find nice words for my cards, and that's where it started.
Isn't that interesting?
So far removed from my original job.
Have you ever written a poem or poetry?
Not really, no, but I can't, you know, retrospectively when you look back, I can see that I've always been creative and I've always enjoyed that process. But never really, ever in a million years thought it would turn into a career.
Wow, amazing. So how do you relax?
How do I relax?
You know, you come to the studios, you have your show, we're always really busy when you're here. You're always really busy with your preparation, getting everything ready. How do you relax? How do you unwind?
This sounds so cliche, but I actually genuinely enjoy crafting. So even though I do this as a job, when I'm not doing it for part of promoting a new release or something like that, I enjoy crafting for me.
What craft?
Well, I do mixed media, I do canvases, that kind of thing. I love the moulds and the air dry clay, painting. I love to draw. So quite often when I'm not, even if I don't use these designs in stamps, I draw, I doodle a lot. and I should bring it in one day. I'll bring it in one day and
Yeah,
show
you should
everybody.
do.
I've got a big A3. Well, I'm actually on book number 6 or 7, but I buy A3 notebooks.
Yes.
And they're what I doodle in.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, like even when we go away, I
Yeah.
have my book.
I'd love to see those.
Yeah, and I
I'd
just
love to
doodle
see
away.
those.
And that actually turns quite often into a series of stamps.
Have you got any of your art on your wall at home, or have you gifted any of your
I
art?
should do.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
should.
haven't.
You
No.
should.
I'm very plain Jane at home.
So am I, for different reasons. So Phil, if you're going out for a meal,
Yeah.
let's talk about food. If it's a choice between, I don't know, let's say pizza or a Thai restaurant, which way would you go?
It would be pizza.
Would
It
it?
would be Italian. Yeah, I don't really eat meat, which is something that not a lot of people know about me. So I'm not going to say I'm veggie because I'm not, because I like gammon.
A pescatarian maybe then?
Yeah,
well,
that's
pescatarian eat fish, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, you're pesky, let's put it that way.
I'm very pesky. So definitely the Italian all
Yes.
the way for me.
Yeah, do you cook at home?
No, Gordon does most of the cooking.
Does
my
he?
other half. I'm not going to lie, I'm spoiled. And this was something that we worked out early in our relationship, that like he's a lot older than me, so when
Yes.
he retired,
Yes.
the point was that I could concentrate on what I do while he looked after everything else, and
Yeah.
that's worked really well for us.
Do you entertain a lot at home?
No, I've just told you I'm so pernickety. So I would much rather go out for a meal with friends than
Yes.
have people in the house.
Yeah.
Because you have to clean it up. You have to clean it up afterwards. And you know, like when everybody's sat in the living room and I'm like, like cushions moved a bit. You can imagine. I mean, Janice, you know me for years. So
I do. But do you know what? I'm with you on that. I'm kind of the same. I get to a point when I've got people round when I'm just like, oh, whatever. Then but it's getting to that point, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, well, can you let's just move that cup over there.
I get
if you're going
that.
to take, you
I
follow them
absolutely
around,
get
catching
that.
the crumbs.
I absolutely get that. Everything in its place.
Yeah, but also I guess you need that time to
Away.
just wind
Yeah,
down a little
away,
bit,
yeah,
because it's
away.
a very busy time.
I'm always busy. But we're both actually really busy. So evenings, I like to ignore my phone,
Yeah.
chill out, catch up on the TV.
Yes.
I don't really watch soaps or anything like that, but we do watch Emmerdale.
Do you?
Yeah, Emmerdale is the one we do watch, and it's one of those things where we watch it and then I'm like, oh, what a waste of 20 minutes.
Well, I've just spent 40 weeks watching Love Island. I'm never going to get that back.
Oh
or 40
no, I don't
hours.
watch that. Oh bless you.
What do you watch then? Are you like a streaming film series person?
So Disney,
Yeah.
I love Disney,
Yeah.
absolutely love Disney. I've told you I like my sci-fi, my
Yes.
Marvel, my DC.
Yeah.
So anything quirky like a superhero-y or a bit supernatural,
Yes.
I love all that.
Have you seen Stranger
Gordon
Things?
doesn't like any of that.
Does he not?
No.
So how do you cope with
Exactly
that?
the
Or
opposite.
how do you manage
So what
that?
happens is, so the routine at night is, what do you want to watch? I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's like, just put what you want on. So I'll put Superman on, for
Yes.
example, and he's like, oh, I can't watch that. So I'll say, well, I asked you what you wanted to watch, so I usually win.
Yes.
But generally what happens is we'll compromise, and then
Yes.
the latter part of the evening is for me.
Yeah.
You can imagine, can't you? Phil and Gordon arguing about Superman and what we're watching next.
Oh, I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Oh,
That'd
it's
be
funny.
hilarious. So let's talk about holidays.
Yeah.
If you were to choose a hot sunshine holiday, or maybe a holiday in the Alps skiing, or just chilling out at a spa, which kind of holiday would you go for?
Hot sunshiny holiday for me
Yeah.
every single time.
Where's
Love
your
the
favourite place
sunshine.
then?
Now we've been to a lot of places, and I guess one of my favourite places of all time is, we love St Lucia, we love Thailand, but we've just been to Tenerife this year for the first time ever, and it was not what I thought it was going to be.
What did
So
you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be, here we go, here we go, here we go. And I'm like, that is not.
But that's your chant whenever you come into the studio. Here we go, here we go, here we go. We all sing it as you go
What
in.
I didn't want was for it to be. We wanted to go somewhere to relax,
Yeah.
chill out, peace and quiet in the sun.
Yes.
And when you look at, we went in March. So
Yeah.
when you're looking at places that offer that in March, it's actually quite restricted.
Yes.
And my sister goes to Tenerife every single year. She's like, honestly, it's not what you think it is. Try it. And do you know what, Janice? We absolutely loved
Did you?
it. Yeah.
Whereabouts did you go?
So we stayed in a Decky, which is the top end.
Yes.
I'm trying to be really subtle. And we had the hotel was stunning. We had the suite, as you can imagine, and it was adult only, so there were no kids jumping in and out the pool. And do you know what? That's the first holiday we've had for a long time where I've read a couple of books. I read a couple of
You just switched off.
Just switched off, and we genuinely really enjoyed it. I mean, we walked for miles and miles and miles, and the whole 2 weeks was just pure joy.
Do you like swimming then? Do you go in the sea?
Not in the sea, no, but I do like it in the pool.
Do you?
I'm scared of the sea.
Are you?
You know, like when you get things that touch your legs and that, like, what was that?
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'll stick to the pool. I know where I am with that. I can see the bottom.
So when you were at school, Phill, did you, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but when you were at school, what did you want to be? Because, you know, back in our day, we used to have the careers advisor and you'd have to go into their office and you have to say what you wanted to be, and then they would say, no, you can't be that, and they would give you a list of jobs. So what did you want to be when you were at school?
A vet. I always wanted to be a vet, and it was something, I mean, I love all animals. Well, you know I do. I love all animals, and it's only as you get older and you see the other side of owning animals that I'm like, I couldn't be a vet. I really couldn't be a vet, because, and hats off to all vets out there.
Absolutely.
Because it's just such a difficult job, but I love animals and I love the nice parts of animals. When you have your cuddles and things like that. I don't like it when they're not very well, you know, I don't like it when they're not very well, etc. So it was, when I was young, it was always a vet. Then when I left school, I actually didn't know. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, and we've been very but it says spoiled. Honestly, I'm not that spoiled. But my mum looked after us really well. We never wanted for anything. She was always very encouraging, very supportive.
That's lovely. That's not being spoiled.
She's
That's
still
just
like
lovely.
that now. Yeah, she's still like that now, as adults. But you know, when you leave school and she's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, oh, I don't. And she's like, well, you're going to have to do something. I'm like, I know, but I don't know what. And I'd got friends who worked in social care, which is where it started from. So my friend Tara at the time, I'm like, have they got any jobs going at that place you're working at? She's like, oh, I don't know, I'll ask. And that's where it started. And I can honestly say, I loved my job. I absolutely loved working with the elderly. And I started as a care assistant, worked my way up to a manager, then I was an area manager. And it's only when you get to the higher positions that your perspective changes and the focus of your job changes, which is what led me to being off with stress, which is what led me to texting Jane and saying, fetch me some bits round.
It's funny how life works, isn't it?
So bizarre.
So 16-year-old or 15-year-old Phill could say something, or if you could give some advice, no, we'll do it the other way. If you could give some advice back to your 16-year-old self, what would it be? What would it have been?
That's really difficult, because I've been really fortunate, Janice. I've loved everything that I've done. So as an adult, everything that I've done as an adult, I've absolutely loved. I would probably say, explore your creative side more. Because had I have done this when I was 15, 16, who knows what I would be doing now. And it's only because you don't think of it as a job, do you? You don't think of that. When you're young, you don't. So that's probably what I would say, and get a drink. Honestly, I don't talk a lot.
Well, I guess, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, and that's kind of like a journey you can take in life. You can just sit back and watch what happens to you. Do you think do you get stressed about things now, or do you take things with a pinch of salt, take things really easily?
Not so much stress, but pressure. I pressure myself.
Do you?
I pressure myself in all formats, really. So when I'm designing new collections, like, oh, will everybody love it? Is it good enough? And people have probably heard me 100 times say, I've really pushed myself with this, I've really pushed, and I do genuinely do that. So as a crafter for 20 plus years, I know that money is a resource, even more so nowadays. So when I want people to invest in my brand, I want you to know 100% that what I'm saying it does, it absolutely does. And I put that pressure on myself. Nobody else does it. I put it on myself. But first as a crafter, but I've built a reputation now of kind of quality products, good designs, and the versatility, and I want to keep that going.
So is there any adventure, Phill, that you would like to do? Have you been skydiving?
No.
Would you like to do any kind of outdoor pursuits?
No.
Would you like to drive a racing car?
No, darling, no, I'm not that adventurous. No, the one thing I really do want to do is Asia, Japan.
Go travelling.
Yeah. That's kind of my thing. I like to travel. Even in the UK, like we love Edinburgh.
Yes.
Gordon's Scottish, so we've got friends and family up there. So whenever we can, we're up there anyway.
Yeah.
So travel and seeing the world is kind of my thing. While I'm still fit and able, while I'm still in my 30s.
Absolutely. Do you know what? Motorhomes are really popular at the moment.
We've talked about this, Janice.
So would you get a motorhome?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, when we had Rufus, unfortunately not anymore, but we talked about this when we had him.
Yeah.
So we could travel around the UK and even Europe in the motorhome.
Yeah,
and we've talked about it now. But what stops me from doing it is I would probably want a good few months away.
Yes.
So if we were to do that, I would need to really plan ahead to be ready for that. But I would love that.
I bet at the moment you can't have too many breaks because you're really busy. I mean, we're busy here on Create and Craft with you. I know you're busy with your other pursuits as well. So how, when you go to plan a holiday, is it a week here, a 2 week there? Is it a major operation when Phill and Gordon go away?
Not really, no. So my sister. So in case you don't know, my sister Karen is actually who runs my business for me in Sheffield. So the shop, the warehouse and the distribution and everything. So we do plan our holidays so we're not both off at the same time. But I'm really free to do mostly what I want. So obviously we can't both be off at the same time, and I do try to get 2 holidays a year now. We didn't do that for the time we had Rufus. When we were 100% committed to him.
Yeah, of course.
And we never went abroad. We went to Cornwall, to Devon. He went everywhere with us. And it's only in the last few years that we've started to travel again. We've been to Italy for the first time.
Oh, well, where did you go?
We went to Positano on the Amalfi Coast.
Yes.
It was stunning.
Was it?
Absolutely stunning, yeah. But if you can't walk up and down hills,
don't do it.
I remember getting to the bottom of these steps like, I can't walk. I can't walk that far. But yeah, it was beautiful. So motorhome is definitely something that I would do. We might do that in the States though, because I'd quite like to do coast to coast.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Can I come along?
Of course you can.
Well, that'd be amazing.
That's
yeah,
why I don't
of
need to do it.
course. I'll go digging the holes in the desert for you. Fine. Step this way.
I would love that. Yeah, absolutely. Love
Yeah, that'd be. So, looking ahead to the future, Phill, incredibly successful now. Are there any plans in the pipeline for any special collections? Can you give us any hints of what's to come?
I won't give you too many hints, but what I will say to them, what a lot of people don't know is, yes, you know me for Sentimentally Yours, but you might not know that I also have the Flawless Media brand. Okay. Which is all my mediums, my paints, my chalk paints, my acrylic paints, my texture mediums and that. I'm going to be really expanding that.
Really?
This year.
I'm very excited about that.
Because, and the reason I did that, so Flawless Media I introduced because, yes, I am a card maker and I like to do pretty cards, but I also like all the crafty, arty processes that we can apply to our card making. So I wanted paints and mediums that we could easily incorporate, and you don't have to do splats everywhere and make it look dark and grungy. You can make mixed media look really pretty, and that's the next stage.
I'm excited. Well, I've done shows with you and you've done that, Phill, and it's always a joy. And you're so talented, you really are. And can I say what a huge joy it's been having a chat with you. We found out lots about you.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you very much,
You're
Phill.
welcome.
There you go, another episode of In the Green Room.